Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Blue Chip Prospect Show for the first episode after the draft. At least the first one that I do solo. I've already made a podcast talking about the overall draft and doing like a recap with the prospect done on our new podcast called On the Clock. But since he is not a Habs fan, I thought I would do this one solo and just talk about the Habs for a few minutes, or probably more than a few minutes, as everything takes a lot of time with me. So basically, I want to talk about the pick that they've made, but I also want to redo the draft with my own pick. So basically, would I have done the trade that they've done to move up to number 34? Which player I would take at number 34 and 81 and 113 and all these things, and see if we can have a better draft than they've had. Like, I feel they had a pretty good draft. It's a yeah, it's pretty good. There's nothing else to say about that. Some players are even exciting, which is great, and they also got Noah Dobson, so we can't blame them for trading number 16 and number 17 to the New York Islanders, because there is just simply no combination of players that were available at 16 and 17 that are worth a top 10, maybe like top 7 right shot defenseman in the entire NHL. So, like, I know, like, it sucks a little bit to lose those magic beans, because obviously there was player like Victor Eklund that were there. Like, basically, if we go see here, this one, and we look at number 16 and 17, there was Victor Eklund that was available, Cation Aitchison, Cole Rezhny, Justin Carbonneau. There was a lot of players, Logan Hanser. So we could have ended up with like maybe Victor Eklund and Justin Carbonneau, and you have basically your offense is set for years with that. But is it worth a top 10, top 7, top 8 right shot defenseman in the entire league that's 6'4", skates like the wind, lots of offense, underrated defense, not necessarily a physical player, but still, like, he can play big. Like, he's a big guy, so it's not like he will be intimidated by other big players. It's not the way he is. He's just not. He's more a position guy, and a guy that's going to use his stick a lot to defend instead of using like his body to actually crush people. So basically, the exact opposite of Cation Aitchison. But I'd much rather have Noah Dobson. So obviously, they didn't pick there, but I feel like the value is fantastic. So I don't care that much. I would have loved to have Justin Carbonneau. I even would have loved for them to move up and try to grab here Lyndon Lakovic at number 27. I don't know, like, if they were trying to do it, but I feel like getting a 6'4" player that I love, that I had at number 14 or number 15 in my final ranking, I feel like it would have been great, but they did not do it. And I feel like they loved Alexander Gerovski, because they said that they had him in their, like, it was a possibility for them at number 16 or 17. I'm not sure how much that's true, but it doesn't really matter. The trade is made. Can't go back on it, and I'm happy with it. So anyway, we'll talk back about all the Habs alignment and stuff like that in the future. That's not the point of the video today. It's basically comparing the draft and talking about the draft itself. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at Alex Gerovski. So first thing first, also, for every player, or almost every player, like, I'm not going to do it for goalies, because I don't want to scout goalies at all. So, but I will probably do a scouting report for every single player, or at least the player that are exciting. Like, am I going to do a full 10-minute scouting report on Max and Vig? Probably not, because I don't see a point in doing that. But maybe Carlos Handel deserve one. LG Mooney absolutely deserve one. Bryce Pickford, Hayden Papanikis, Alex Gerovski. So there's a lot of work in front of me, I guess. But it's not going to come up like in the next few days or whatever. But over the summer, I will do a scouting report for those players, because it's a great draft. So first thing first, here, Alex Gerovski, we picked them at number 34, but originally we had number 41 and number 49. So if we look at the draft here and we go into the second round, like, if you start at 41, who were the players that were available? There were a player like Daniel Prokhorov. There were a player like Malcolm Spence. There's a lot of people like Eric Nilsson. I did not have him in my first round, but some people did. But those two players are two players that were in a lot of people's first round. There's a player like Cole McKinney, Shane Van Zaghi, Jacob Wozniak. So there was a lot of talent. Even Ivan Ryabkin. I don't think that's the type of player that the Habs would draft. in any way, shape, or form because of the character issues. Uh, I feel like sometimes you can let go of the character issues of a 17-year-old and try to build on his play, and like he's gonna get into his place, or maybe he won't, but it's a second round pick, so it doesn't really matter that much. But there was a lot of good players like William Moore too that I had ranked at number 25. So obviously, this is a player I would have liked to have. I had him over Alexander Gerovski, but in the same tier. The reason why Alexander Gerovski is a little lower for me is the risk. But I think he proved that he's extremely talented. Like basically the thing that's elite about him is going to be his hands. Like he's a good playmaker, he's a good shooter, he's a better skater now than he was at the beginning of the season, but he's not like he doesn't have other dynamic element in his game other than his hands, but his hands are is something that's important. It's important to go in traffic, it's important to play with the puck along the board, to keep the puck away from defenders. So they got a good player. I think that player is a guy that can have a top 6 upside. I really like watching him. I think there's a lot of offensive upside with him. It's not a sure thing that he's going to be an NHL player, but at number 34, it's normal. But would you trade like Daniel Prokhorov and Shane Van Zaghi for Alexander Gerovski, or would you take like William Moore and Prokhorov? Personally, I think I would have William Moore and Daniel Prokhorov over just Alexander Gerovski. I might be wrong. Maybe I'm not. We'll see in the future. Like it's gonna take a long time for us to know. But I feel like with the players that are available there at number 41 and 49, I think I would have gone with William Moore and Daniel Prokhorov. Those would probably be my 2 favorite players to pick there, and that would have been a home run. But Alexander Gerovski could be a home run too. But that is not the point necessarily of the video. It's also to make a pick. So if I was picking here at number 34, like I said, obviously there are players that how can I say that? There are players like combination of players that are better than Alexander Gerovski. But is one of those player better than Alexander Gerovski? That is the question I'm asking myself. I made a mistake here in his name. I think William Moore is a player that I really, really like. So I would be inclined to take William Moore. He's also a center. But I feel like Alexander Gerovski has more upside than William Moore. And also, like, I want to make this exercise as if I was like basically making the pick for the Habs. So, because making the pick for yourself when you don't have a team to build is very easy. You can just take the highest upside of any player and don't care about building a team. But when you're an actual NHL team, you have to think about what you have in your roster. You have to think about what you have in your pipeline because you're basically trying to build a cohesive team, something that works on the ice, something that can get you to the playoff and something that can get you through the playoff too. So if I had a choice between Alexander Gerovski, Daniel Prokhorov, or William Moore, it's a very good question. It's a very, very good question. I think I would still go with man, this one is hard. I'm really not sure. Like I love those 3 players a lot. I think like Gerovski is the most talented one of all those. Is the one that probably has the most like top 6 upside. Daniel Prokhorov too. William Moore is probably more like a middle 6 center in the NHL. Okay, we're gonna keep Alex Gerovski here. So that's E7. So let's go like that. E7. Oh, that did not work. All right, so we're just gonna go Alex Gerovski. All right, cool. So next pick. Here there is Aiden Papanikis that they took at number 69, which I feel it's a fantastic pick. Like he's a big center. He's 6'4", 6'5". He skates pretty well. He has some skills. He has some aggressivity. I don't know if you guys watch the games of the prospect development thing that's going on right now in Brassard. But yeah, he's doing pretty good. Like if you watch those players, the players that like stand out the most is probably Aiden Papanikis, LG Mooney. Michael Hage. Those are the players. Also, maybe also Tyler Thorpe. So those are the players that probably stand out the most. Would I take Aiden Papanikis, or would I take a shot on a Sean Barnhill, or a physical defenseman like David Bitkowski, or even Cooper Simpson? Uh, like the thing is, I feel like Aiden Papanikis is not going to be a top six player, most likely. I think he's going to be a bottom six player, which is perfectly fine when you pick a player at 69. Um, but because we traded number 16 and number 17 for right shot defenseman, but we I don't want to go for players that, how can I say that? Like, anyways, I don't want to go for players that have low ceiling or lower ceiling. I want to like take a couple swings because I didn't get to pick high. So if I was the Habs at that point, I don't think I would have taken Aiden Papanikis, even though I had him in my second round. I had him like 44, something like that. So like fully deserved to be picked there, but I think I would have Cooper Simpson because it's a swing for upside, and I feel like it's probably the best player to take there. So Cooper Simpson at number 69. So those are basically two big swings for upside here. Alexander Gerovski. We could have taken a safer route with William Moore or Daniel Prokhorov or even Ivan Ryabkin here, but we did not. And then we took a second swing. So we might have at least one top six player in those. Maybe not, maybe zero. But and it's not like those players have a lot of skills to fall back on if they don't make it into a top six. So it's either they make it or they won't. So, but I feel like those are good swings, even though I really like it in Papanikis. Yeah, now we can't take him. All right. So if you go for the third round at number 81, where we had two picks back to back, players that are left on the board, it could be players like Brady Peddle, Mason Moe, which I really like too. There's the overager Christian Epperson, Cameron Schmidt, Adam Benak, Max Westergaard. There's a lot of players like that are left. So basically, all the players that you see that are equal to the line here are the players that were available at that pick that I would like to have. Um, but between Bryce Pickford and Brady Peddle, I think I prefer Bryce Pickford. If it's Bryce Pickford between Mason Moe, it's a little bit more complicated because Bryce Pickford is an overager. Um, but I really like the fact that he's a right shot D with some size. He has a cannon of a shot, not necessarily the one timer or the slap shot. It's not really his style. It's more about the catch and release and the wrister. Like he takes the space available to him and he just rips a shot. He's very good at reading the ice, at finding like he's very good at trailing the play, being at the right place to have some space in front of him, have some time to catch the puck and release it. And he has a fantastic release, a lot of power behind his shot, goes bar down all the time. Just a really good shooter for a defenseman. It's a bit complicated. Would I go with Brady Peddle? Like, if you look at Brady Peddle, where was it taken? Brady Peddle. Is he here? No. So you go Brady Peddle. Oops. Brady. That's not gonna work. Brady Peddle. I'm not too sure about his stats. I know I like his game, but um okay, yeah, this the stats are like he had as many points in 15 games in the playoff that he had in the entire season. I feel like he's a pretty good player. He's mobile enough. He has decent size. Well, decent size, more than decent size. He's a 6'3" defenseman. They say he's a physical defenseman, puck moving defenseman. I agree with the physical one. I would agree also with maybe mobile, but puck moving, I'm not sure about that part. I think he does have like a good first pass. He can read the ice, can create separation, and actually like find a way to transition the puck. But is he? Unless that's what they mean by puck moving, like a guy that can have a great first pass, but it's not exactly what I would call a puck moving defenseman. And Mason Moe too is also pretty good, and he had a great season. If I don't remember, I mean, if I remember well, and I'm not sure he had great, but I think he had good season. Mason Moe, yeah, so 43 points in the USHL in 51 games. it's a player that I like. I think he works hard. I think he's also physical when he wants to. He has some hands. He has some vision. It's not a bad player, but I think we're gonna go with the Habs on this one, and we're gonna go with Bryce Pickford because I really like that pick. Pickford. I had Pickford, I think 61. I'm not, is it at 61, 59, 61, something like that. So getting him again at 81, it's really, really good. Then after that, at pick number 82, they took a goalie, Arseny Radkov, which I know nothing about. And like I said, I went to watch all those players, but I'm not going to watch the goalies. Like I understand getting more goalies because you never know. Maybe your goalies don't pan out, and maybe you can find a star like in the 7th round or whatever. But I don't want to scout goalies. It's that simple. I don't want to do it in the regular season either, and I want to do it even less in the summer. So maybe he's an actual very good goalie. I just don't want to go watch games and watch just a goalie. So I'm not doing that. So we're not going to pick a goalie. So here we have a lot of choices. We could take any player that it's in there, and there are players that I really like. Obviously, players like Cameron Schmidt. How can I say that? Like Cameron Schmidt is a player that has a lot of upside if it works. We already taken LG Mooney, and I prefer LG Mooney over Cameron Schmidt. I prefer LG Mooney over uh, what's his name? Adam Benak. I also prefer LG Mooney over Lev Katzen, who was not even drafted, if I remember well. So, what would I do here? I think, honestly, I would probably go with, um, yeah, it's not easy. Probably Christian Epperson. Like, I like Christian Epperson a lot. I think he works super hard. It's a very good player. He had great season for, yeah, we're going to go with Christian Epperson. Christian Epperson. There you go. So no Arseny Radkov, but I'm not gonna pick a goalie like I said. So it's not that the pick is not good. Is that I don't want to pick goalies because I feel like Foul is going to do the job, and I didn't scout them, so I can't really have an opinion on them. And next after that, no, in the 4th round, they took LG Mooney, and this is very easy for me. I would take LG Mooney in the 4th round too. Even if Cameron Schmidt and Benak and Philip Ekberg and Lev Katzen, even if they're all there, I'm still taking LG Mooney. I've been saying it for months that he's my favorite. Oops, yeah, that's good. That is my favorite of the 5'7" little players. So I'm gonna stay true to myself. And I'm gonna pick him. Like I wouldn't. Obviously, I could have gone with like Cameron Schmidt here and LG Mooney here, and then I have Lev Katzen at the bottom here. But that is 3 picks with very small players, all players 5'7", 7'8". I'm not sure that's how you want to build a team. I think you can take a swing on one of them, and maybe and basically for myself, I like players that are great playmakers. Like shooters are great too, but I feel like it takes an absolute shot and something else to be able to translate your game to the NHL. So players like Cameron Schmidt, and I might be very wrong about it because maybe Cameron Schmidt becomes a star, maybe Cameron Schmidt becomes a top 6 player that can score 25, 30 goals and use his speed all over the ice. But he's a shooter first. He's not a playmaker. He's not a guy with a great vision. He often have like tunnel vision where he only sees the net. And even though he has a lot of openings for let's say a pass into the slot, well, he will just take a low chance shot. And in the WHL, it will work because goalies can be a lot weaker than in the NHL, and he does have a great shot. But at the NHL level, I'm not sure if that works. So I have issues with that. And Adam Benak is just a very, very different type of player. I'm not sure he's an NHL player. I don't really see his style of play as something that will translate to the NHL. But LG Mooney, it's basically, how can you put it? Like, it's like if you merged uh, Stankoven and I don't know. I don't even know how to put it. Like, he's so. as a small player, like usually the smaller player, like Cameron Schmidt, like Caulfield, like Stankoven, they are big time shooters. LG Mooney has a good shot, but his best ability is basically his smarts on the ice and the way he sees the ice. And he can see everything and he knows how to fool players around him to get the puck to somebody that's open. He has incredible skating in the four direction, not just straight line speed. He's powerful skater. He's fast. He has explosion, but it's also the way he can break and start back on a dime and just explode up and create separation between him and the guy covering him. So he finds ways to thread the puck to players that are open. He's very, very smart. He has vision for days. He can see everything on the ice. Like there's no play that he's not going to see. He's just the smartest player on the ice every time he's on the ice. Did he have a great season? No, he did not. But there is nobody who had a great season in the US NTDP this season. So maybe it's going to be tough for Gimoni at the NCAA level this year, like it was for Caulfield. Like his first year, I'm not even sure he was point per game, or if he was barely a point per game. It might be the same thing for LG Mooney, maybe even lower, because he's not like a record breaking type of shooter like Caulfield was. But he has such smooth hands. Basically he's a bit like if you take Lane Hudson and you merged him with Stankoven, because Stankoven is a physical player. He's a player that's always going to 100%, always involved in the play. It doesn't matter if it's behind the net, along the board, in the corners. He doesn't care whatsoever. He goes in front of the net. He does whatever he needs to do to produce offense at the NHL level. And there's a reason why the Canes just signed him to a big contract, right? So I feel like LG Mooney has that type of attitude with a different skill set. I think he's more agile as a skater. I'm not sure he's as fast as Stankoven as a skater, but I think he's more agile in four direction. But he's also a much better playmaker. I can't say he's a much better playmaker because one is in the NHL making points and the other one is very far from the NHL. So I feel like he projects as a better playmaker. So basically, he has all the shakies of Lane Hudson. He has the four-way direction skating of Lane Hudson, but he also has a Stankoven attitude. So he's like a mix of both. And like I remember at some point in the season where Kent Hughes was talking about Stankoven, where he said he was asked a question about the smaller player. Does it hurt to have small player or more than one small player in your roster? And he said, well, it depends. Like if you have a player like Stankoven, do you really characterize him as a small player? Yes, he's small in stature. Does he play small? Can you move him away from the puck easily? The answer to all that is no. He's very hard to play against. He's hard to hit because he can roll off the checks. He's faster than basically anyone else, so he can just create separation every time he has the puck on his stick. He's super intense. Well, LG Mooney is that, plus he has like that Lane Hudson lightness on his skate and with his stick and the way he handles the puck, pass the puck, sees the ice, and navigate through traffic. So I think it's a fantastic pick. Getting him in the fourth round is phenomenal in my opinion, and I would not change that whatsoever. Even though there are players like Alex Wang that I really like, even players like Shamar Moses, who didn't necessarily had a great season, but I do like Shamar Moses, and Alex Wang is just a right-shot defenseman, not necessarily big, but he's like 6 foot or something like that, but he's light. Great skater, great vision, very good passer. He can open lanes for shooting the puck at the blue line. He has a lot going for him, but I think he's far from the NHL, and he got much better throughout the season at defending, but it's still very much a work in progress. Even Mikas Verchek, I liked him pretty, like not that much, but I liked him a little bit. Yeah, so even like if there's a guy like Shamar Moses that I really like, I'm still taking LG Mooney because LG Mooney is like 20 times the amount of skills of Shamar Moses. But Shamar Moses is like a 6'1", 6'2" guy who could who also has a very good shot, so he could make it. So after that, we have at number 145, they took Alexis Cournoyer, another goalie. So obviously, again, we are not taking a goalie. We could go with a different route here. There's a lot of players that are good. I like Aiden Lane quite a lot. I think he's a player that has significant upside. Like, let's calm down. But he's a player that does have upside. If we look at his season here, we're gonna go Hey, then line like here. Did I take the right one? I hope so. Yeah, Calgary. Cool. All right. So, well, didn't play much here, but he had 13 points in 13 games in the OHL and in St. Andrews College, while 21 and 14. So, like the college, just forget about it. It doesn't really matter all that much. But he did well in the OHL before the playoff. But his game is pretty good. He's a guy like here. It's written two-way forward. He's a guy that can skate pretty well. He has that, not a chip on his shoulder, but he's a guy that's not afraid to lean on defenders and try to get to the middle of the ice, a cut to the net with the puck on his stick. He has a pretty good shot from that can beat goalies uh, from mid range. So like it's a good base. It's a guy that has middle six, bottom six upside, but it's a guy that I think has a decent chance to play in the NHL. So I think you're getting a player with him. Harry Nancy is a guy that didn't have a lot of production, but he's as like a 6'3" guy that skates well, very athletic, can hit hard, can like does a lot of good stuff on the ice, but he's not going to put a lot of points in the NHL, in my opinion. Then you can take a bet on a player like Emile Guité, who has a great shot, but had a terrible draft year. Like terrible draft year. If we go back here and we go with Emil Guite, I think he had like 30 points in the queue, which is like horrible. Yeah, he had a better season last year. So he's a 6'2" kid. So there's some size here, but he had 30 points, including 16 goals in 59 games. Last year he had 57 points, 25 goals in 61 games. So what's wrong? I don't know. If we click on the team, it wasn't great. It didn't have a lot of production across the board, but still, like he's very far down. He's like here, ninth. So Alex Wong had a better season than him, and he's a defenseman. But I feel like it's one of those pick that he could explode next season. But are we gonna do that? I don't think so. There's players like Arvid Drott that I really like. There's player like Bruno Osmanis that I really like. Even Carl Anborn. Personally, I think I'm going to go with Arvid Drott. It's a player that is not on the big side. He's like 5'11" or something like that, but he plays very intense. He's a good skater. He hits whenever he like not whenever like he hits whenever all the chances that he get to hit somebody. He's not going to take himself out of a game to hit somebody, but he's going to hit. He's going to forecheck. He's going to skate hard. He's a guy that's going to go finish at the net. He's not he's not a playmaker. He's not a guy with a great vision, but he does have a lot of tools to be NHL player. It's just that doing what he's doing now at the NHL level with his frame, it's a bit the same question with Victor Eklund, but Victor Eklund has a lot more skills, so it's different. But it's the same question. Like with that frame, can you play the way you play in Sweden? It is in Sweden, right? Arvid Drott is in Sweden, unless I'm. Man, the draft is done. Forgot everything about the draft. Yeah, that's it. It's in Sweden. Okay, I was right. Cool. I'm not like completely lost. Yeah, so basically, okay, if we go back on his page here to say, well, they say power forward, but the guy is 6 foot. I thought he was 5'11". He, like I said, he skates well. He has some physical elements in his game, but he's a guy that has a simple game, north south, that's going to go at the net. He's very young. He's July or August. Can we see here? Yeah, he's August 11th, so he's a very young kid. Has a lot of runway. So that's the type of pick that I would have taken because it's a different type of player. Like we took Cooper Simpson and Gerovski for skill. LG Mooney was extremely skilled too, probably more skilled than those two players, even maybe combined. But he's 5'7". We have Pickford who can shoot the puck from the right D. Christian Epperson who put up decent amount of points with Misa, but also like he's a guy that works hard. He has an NHL type of work rate, if you would like. LG Mooney, like I said, just basically skills, and Arvid Drott is he's closer to Christian Epperson than, let's say, an LG Mooney. He's much more powerful, he's very fast. He's very intense the way he plays. It's just that the upside is definitely limited. It's going to be a guy that's going to be a bottom six, but I can probably help a team defensively. If everything hits, he's a guy that can play on your PK. He's a guy that can forecheck for you, a bit like Emil Heinemann used to do. He doesn't have that shot, I don't think so, but he's still he's in that frame. He doesn't have the 6'2" frame though, but he's in that type of frame of player. So next at 177, they took Carlos Handel, which is a pretty good pick in my opinion. Defenseman is in the queue. Carlos, just gonna go here. Carlos Handel. I'm gonna go see his stats. I think he has like 30 points or 26 points or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. 26. Right on it. So 26 points in 52 games for the Halifax Moosehead. Also 4 points at the U18s for Germany. Definitely, he's a more offensively inclined player than defensively, but it's not like he's bad defensively. It's just that I think it's a work in progress. He got to work on his positioning. He's got to work on his risk assessment. The backward skating. His frontward skating is really good. His agility is very good in my opinion, but backward defending, closing gaps, trying to take space and take time away from players, I think it's something where he's not there yet. Will he get there? Maybe. But he's a guy that if he does get there, he has the ability also to move the puck. He can move the puck in transition. He can move it with his skates. He can move it by passing it. He can also move it once he crosses the offensive blue line. So it's not a bad pick. It's a pretty good swing for a player, and I think he's a right shot D, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, exactly. He's another right shot D. So I guess they're really stacked up on right shot, right? So would we go with a player like Carlos Handel? I think I like him quite a lot, but we are not going to go with him. We are going to go with Bruno Osmanis. I really like Bruno Osmanis. He's another guy that's very intense, that has that NHL work rate that I was just talking about with Arvid Drubb, but also has some skills. Matthew Lensing too. What's the season of Matthew Lensing? Let's go see that. I like the player, but do I like the season? I don't know. So you can see he's 6'1", 185 is the center. He had 10 points in 14 games for the Fargo Force in the USHL, which is decent. There's not a lot of scoring in the USHL, so it's really hard to find player with great production. Outside of Riker Lee, there's barely any players that are over a point per game in the USHL, so it's really not a problem. It's a decent season. Would we take him now? Or Bruno Osmanis. So if we go here and we go Bruno Osmanis. Let's go. Open. All right, so a guy that's 5'11", so not as big. 170. He had 37 points in 31 games in the J20 National, and had 7 points in 27 games for the Allsvenskan. But he's also out to the playmaker, offensive forward, dangler. I feel like this is true, but it doesn't exactly. How can I say that? He's a hard worker too. He's a player that's going to be involved defensively. He's a guy that's going to be involved in the corners and along the board. He can create offense a lot of different ways. If you look, even he played for the U20 here, 4 points in 3 games. I don't know. You know what? I'm gonna take Bruno Osmanis because I liked him, and I'm gonna keep liking him. And I think he has like I said, and I keep saying, he has that NHL work rate, plus he has skills. So we're gonna go with Bruno Osmanis. So basically, right now, go here. Alex Gerovski, we kept him at number 34. Instead of Aiden Papanikis, we got Cooper Simpson. So another swing for upside instead of getting another player for the bottom six. Bryce Pickford, we really like that pick, so we kept him. Instead of Arseny Radkov as a goalie, we got Christian Epperson. We kept LG Mooney because LG Mooney is just a fantastic player. Instead of another goalie, we got a intense player that can finish at the net, that has really good skating in Arvid Drott, but doesn't necessarily have the frame. Instead of Carlos Handel, we took Bruno Osmanis. So we have two more picks to go. They took Andrew McNeil and Maxen Vig. Maxen Vig is a bit of question mark for me. Like I'm not sure I understand why. Like if we go here. First, the season was pretty terrible in my opinion. 32 in 62, and he's 19 years old. So actually, it's not terrible. It's just he's not that great of a skater. That's a problem. Like I think he can skate well enough offensively. Can he separate behind the net and trying to find ways to like make a clean pass or escape for checking the forecheck? Can he do that? Yes and no. Like a little bit, yes, but the problem is when he skates defensively, when he's trying to close the gaps, when he's trying to hit players, when he's trying to keep players on the outside or follow a player and keep him along the board instead of him trying to be able to cut inside. He doesn't have the explosion and he doesn't have like that backward skating and the like the shiftiness to follow players and close gaps and do all the things that he needs to do as a defenseman. He's a fairly physical player, but he's a 19-year-old. So I don't think I would take him. And I think McNeil, if I'm not mistaken, McNeil had an even worse season. McNeil, I think he had like not many points. Yeah, 3 points in 33 game. Obviously, he was lower in the depth chart of the team. He was not going to get the power play time and all these things. But I think he played something around like 9 to 10 minutes a game. So it's not a lot of time. But I don't see a lot in him. Obviously, there's the size and there's the right shot. And like there's always some potential with the on the defensive part of the game. He's also young, as you can see here. I didn't know that. But look, we'll see next year, but it would not be my pick. So if we go into the list here, what player can we take? I like Melvin Novotny. It's a pretty good player. Philip Ekberg was pretty good, but we're not going to take Philip Ekberg, at least not now. Aiden Park did really well. Go here. The guy that got drafted in in shorts with a hoodie. Aiden Park. It's not this one. This one? It's not that. Am I not writing his name? It was taken. There you go. 223. Aiden Park, 6'1", 187 pounds. He's a 19-year-old, obviously, because he could have been drafted last year, but he did really well in the USHL for the Green Bay Gamblers. I'm having issues with my words. I liked him last season, so I still like him now. If you go take a look at Melvin Novotny. I think we haven't taken enough defensemen, so maybe Will Sharp. Just wait a second. We're gonna wait for this thing to open. Melvin Novotny, 6'1", 187 pounds, was just drafted in the 7th round. 38 points in 41 games, including also two points in 7 games in the WGC 18. Well, in the U18s, going to the USHL next year, which is good. Those are 2 players that I like. But look, well, we don't have a lot of defensemen. So if I was going to pick for the Habs, maybe if we go into the list here, let's go into the list and see which players they have. So we are choosing for number 189. Is that it? Yeah, we are choosing for 189. So what's past 189? Some goalies. Harvard Drott was right here at 192. Defenseman, Dumphy, no. Farhammer, never. Oh, Carl Anborn. That's a good pick. 6'1", right shot defenseman. Had a decent season. 24 points in 39 games. Well, that's our pick. Yeah, that's our pick, I think. Yeah, we're going to go with Carl Anborn at number 189. And here, there's really like two ways we could go about it. We could go with Will Sharp, which is a defenseman that had a decent season. We could go with Aiden Park, who's an overager that does have some size. Lev Katzen, who's another very small player that was not even drafted, but did have a more than point per game season in the OHL. It's hard if we go, let's say, Will Sharp. If I'm not mistaken, he had a pretty decent season offensively. Yeah, 28 and 35 when he was with Lethbridge, and then 16 with Kelowna. Obviously, with Kelowna, it's tougher. It was the same thing for Papanikis, basically, because he was traded there. You can see here 19 points in 32 games, so really not that great. Well, Sharp. This one is a left shot D with a decent season. So what do we have now? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 forward and 2 defensemen. So should we go with like Aiden Park or Will Sharp? I think we're going to go with Will Sharp. It's going to take some time for him to develop. What is that? Why is it like this? Anyway. Will Sharp. Grow. Like this. 15. Bold. Bold. 15. There you go. All right, cool. All right, so that's basically it. So now we have 3 defensemen instead of just 2, no goalies, and 6 forwards. So if we compare it, number 34, Alex Gerovski, we kept it because it's just a very good swing for upside. Number 3, Aiden Papanikis. I would have loved to keep Aiden Papanikis, but I think there was like even Sean Barnhill would have been a great pick in my opinion. There, he's another right shot D, but he's like 6'5" or something like that, and he skates like the wind. But I think like we have enough. Like this one is a right shot D. This one is a right shot D. This one is a left shot D. So we took 2 right shot D already. So Cooper Simpson is just the guy has a little bit of everything to make the NHL in an offensive role. Like the only thing that he needs to work, not the only thing, but obviously he needs to work with the physicality, because the more it gets physical, the more he gets into traffic, the harder that it gets for him, which is it's normal for players that are 17 and 18 years old. Especially for players that are coming out of high school hockey, they got to get accustomed to the physicality, and it's gonna get worse because he jumped to the USHL, but he's gonna have to jump to the NCAA. It's gonna get a lot worse before it gets better. But he has the potential to be a little bit of a steal, especially at number 69. Where was taken actually? What was his Cooper Simpson? It's funny because Cooper Simpson is a player that like 2 or 3 months ago I said was probably would have been a target for me for the Habs, because I just love what he was bringing on the ice, and I feel like you could get him later. And actually, he was drafted in the 3rd round. So in the 3rd round, I feel like that was a very, very good swing. Boston got him. The guy has a lot of skills. He has decent frame. It's just he needs to get accustomed to play a more NHL style, a more bumpy style of hockey, which is normal, especially when you come from the high school. So after that, we got Bryce Pickford, and we kept him because the guy is a shooter. He's a right shot defenseman, decent size, decent skater, decent defender. Does a lot of good things. Was really, really good in the playoff. More than really, really good. It was like he was very good in the playoff. LG Mooney, just a fantastic pick. I just love that player. Instead of Alexis Cournoyer, we got Arvid Drott, player that's going to go north-south, that's going to be intense on the ice, that's going to be, like I said a little bit earlier, like the Emil Heinemann without the the two, not the two way, but without the 6'2" frame and the shot. So not exactly the same type of player. Instead of Carlos Handel, we got Bruno Osmanis, another intense player but with a lot of skills. Instead of Andrew McNeil, we got Carl Anborn. And instead of Maxon Vig, we got Will Sharp. So which draft will be better? I am not sure. But I like both. I think the Habs did a very, very good job with their draft. I feel like taking all those players with and adding Noah Dobson with the 2 firsts was a very, very good work for them. Even moving up, like for myself, I would have preferred to have Daniel Prokhorov and William Moore than just Alex Gerovski. But I feel like if you really, really like that player and you want a player that has top 6 skills, Alex Gerovski was a good bet for that. So that is it for today. I just wanted to compare the draft and talk a little bit about the Habs and what they've done. So that's what we did. So like I said, I'm going to do a little bit of a video, like a scouting report on every single player except for the goalies. Maybe not every single player, but most of the exciting players that they drafted. So I guess see you in the next one. And we're going to try to do more Habs content this summer and probably going to do some redrafts and stuff like that. But I'm going to take it a lot more slowly than I've taken it before the draft. So let's see how it goes. All right. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one. Peace.